Hockey fans, brace yourselves. This is your ultimate, no-holds-barred guide to the 2024 to 2025 NHL season. The big headlines for 2024 to 2025. Let's drop the puck on the stories that'll dominate headlines this season. First up, Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks.
Now Bedard with a shot, saved by Omar.
Folks, this kid isn't just living up to the hype, he's rewriting the whole dang book. After snagging the Calder Trophy with a mind-blowing 61-point rookie season, Bedard's revving up for a sophomore surge that could light the lamp for 100 points. The last time a player this young cracked the century mark? Sidney Crosby way back in 2007. But Bedard's not doing it alone. The Hawks have loaded up with new wingmen like Teuvo Teravainen and Tyler Bertuzzi. It's a supporting cast that could turn Chicago from pretender to contender faster than a Patrick Kane spinorama. But hold on to your jerseys, because the New York Rangers are coming in hotter than a freshly sharpened skate. They've assembled all the pieces for a serious Stanley Cup run. In net, the Igor Shesterkin stopping pucks like they owe him money. Up front, Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad are lighting it up like the 4th of July. The million-dollar question, can young guns Alexis Lafreniere and Capo Kakko finally live up to their draft hype when the playoff pressure cooker's on full blast? They can shake off those big game jitters. The Rangers might just parade Lord Stanley down Broadway for the first time since '94. Now, don't you dare sleep on the New Jersey Devils. Jack Hughes isn't just knocking on the door of superstardom, he's kicking it down with a 99-point season, alongside his brother Luke and Captain Nico Hischier. The Devils have built one of the most electrifying young cores since the Oilers in the 80s. They've beefed up on both ends of the ice this offseason, and now they're not just happy to be invited to the dance, they're ready to run the whole dang party. Keep your eyes peeled, because Jack Hughes might just Hart Trophy his way into the NHL's elite. And let's not forget about the defending champs. The Florida Panthers shocked the hockey world harder than a Zdeno Chara slapshot last year, and now they're hungry for seconds. Matthew Tkachuk brings the kind of grit that'd make even the Broad Street bullies proud, while Alexander Barkov's two-way game is smoother than fresh Zamboni ice. This squad's got the perfect mix of skill, grit, and been there, done that to go all the way again. But here's the million-dollar question. Can they avoid the dreaded Stanley Cup hangover that's derailed so many champs before them? Off-season winners and losers. Not every team had a summer to write home about. Let's break down who came out smelling like roses and who might be feeling buyer's remorse. In the winner's circle, we've got the New Jersey Devils strutting their stuff. They didn't just keep their core intact, they added some serious firepower, bringing in Jacob Markstrom to mind the net. That's the kind of move that turns contenders into champions. With Jack Hughes leading the charge like a young Steve Yzerman, the Devils are locked, loaded, and ready to raise some hell in the playoffs. The Nashville Predators, meanwhile, made more noise tone a sold-out Bridgestone Arena.
Ryan O'Reilly's
Snagging Steven Stamkos? That's like adding a howitzer to your arsenal. Jonathan Marchessault brings the kind of clutch playoff scoring that turns good teams into great ones. And don't sleep on Brady Shea shoring up the blue line. He's the kind of steady D-man every cup contender needs. Mix these vets with other studs like you see Saros and Philip Forsberg, and the Preds are serving notice to the rest of the Central Division. Underestimate us at your own risk. Edmonton fans, you can finally unclench. The Oilers have addressed their Achilles heel, a defense softer than pond ice in spring. With a revamped blue line and solid goaltending, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl might finally have the backup singers they need to take their show all the way to the Stanley Cup final. The supporting cast is in place. Now it's time for the dynamic duo to deliver on their immense promise. Now for the teams that might want a do-over. The Seattle Kraken's offseason was about as smooth as a sheet of ice after a mite hockey practice. Overpaying for Chandler Stevenson? That's the kind of move that ties up valuable cap space faster than you can say salary cap hell. As the Pacific Division turns into a shark tank, Seattle might find themselves gasping for air. But the real head-scratcher? The Buffalo Sabres. Trading away top prospect Matthew Savoy for short-term gains is the kind of move that keeps GMs up at night, pacing the floor and wondering where it all went wrong. To make matters worse, they lost Jeff Skinner to free agency. Sorry, Sabres fans. It might be another long winter by Lake Erie. At this rate, the only thing frozen in Buffalo might be their playoff hopes. Players to watch in 2025. Alright, Puckheads, let's talk about the guys who'll be lighting up highlight reels and setting Twitter on fire this season.
Here's Connor Bedard! He scores!
Connor Bedard, obviously. The kid's entering his second year with the Blackhawks, and all eyes are on him to take that next giant leap. With a stronger supporting cast around him, don't be shocked if he hits the 100-point mark and carries Chicago kicking and screaming into the playoff picture. His vision on the ice, Gretzky-esque. His shot, it could thread a needle from the blue line. Every time he touches the puck, the whole rink holds its breath. Something special could happen at any moment. Over in San Jose, keep your eyes peeled for Macklin Celebrini. The Sharks nabbed him first overall in the 2024 draft, and he's got more tools than a Home Depot. Elite scoring touch, blazing speed that'd make Pavel Bure jealous, and the hockey IQ of a 10-year vet. Celebrini could be the spark that reignites the Sharks' playoff hopes. He's not just a rookie, he's a potential franchise-altering talent that could have San Jose fans forgetting all about the Thornton Marleau era. And don't you dare sleep on Juraj Slafkovsky in Montreal. After a rookie season that showed more flashes than a lightning storm, the Canadians are banking on him to make the leap from potential to production. If he can find chemistry with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, look out. Slafkovsky could become the kind of power forward that gives defensemen nightmares and makes goaltenders question their career choices. Division breakdowns. Time to dive into each division and see who's poised to come out on top when the regular season dust settles. In the Atlantic, the Toronto Maple Leafs are still the team to beat, like it or not.
Marner getting it back to Matthews. Bertuzzi
Auston Matthews and Mitch Marner are in their prime, putting up the kind of numbers that make statisticians swoon. With a beefed-up defense core, they're the favorites to plant their flag atop the division. But don't count out the Florida Panthers. The reigning champs have that championship swagger, and they're not about to give up their crown without a fight. And keep a close eye on the Boston Bruins. Adding Elias Lindholm and Nikita Zadorov gives them the kind of depth that wins wars of attrition in the playoffs. The Atlantic's shaping up to be a three-way dogfight that'll go down to the wire. The Metropolitan Division, it's the New Jersey Devils sandbox, and everyone else is just playing in it. That high-octane offense led by Jack Hughes, combined with their new and improved D, makes them the team to beat. But don't think for a second that the Carolina Hurricanes are going to roll over. Their suffocating defensive system and balanced attack will keep them in the mix until the bitter end. And the New York Rangers? If their young stars can take that next step and play up to their pedigree, they could surprise everyone and crash the party at the top of the standings. Out in the Central, it's still the Colorado Avalanche's world. We're just living in it. A healthy Nathan MacKinnon is scarier than a bear on skates, and Cale Makar continues to redefine what a defenseman can do. They're the clear favorites, but don't engrave their names on the division title just yet. The Dallas Stars, with Jason Robertson emerging as a legitimate superstar and Jake Ottinger standing tall in net, will push them to the limit. And those Nashville Predators we talked about earlier, with their offseason additions, they've got more firepower than a 4th of July celebration. The Central is going to be a slugfest from opening night to Game 82. In the Pacific, all eyes are on the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are still the most dynamic duo since Wayne Gretzky and Yari Curry, and with their improved supporting cast, they're primed for a big year. But the Vegas Golden Knights aren't about to go quietly into the night. Never count out Vegas. They've got the depth, the experience, and the hunger. Watch out for the Vancouver Canucks. If Thatcher Demko can stay healthy and Quinn Hughes keeps playing like he's got the cheat codes to the game, they could shock the hockey world and make a serious push for the division crown. Playoff predictions. Alright, it's time to dust off the crystal ball and make some playoff predictions that'll either make us look like hockey Nostradamuses or complete puckheads by season's end. In the Eastern Conference Finals, we're calling it Florida Panthers versus New York Rangers. It's a rematch of last year's conference finals, and it's gonna be more intense than a Ty Domi Bob Probert throwdown.
Bingo, here we go. Look out, baby, Probert.
Shesterkin versus Bobrovsky in net. Panarin versus Tkachuk on offense. This one's going the full 7 games, folks. Expect more plot twists than a Tarantino flick and enough highlight reel plays to fill a season's worth of top 10 countdowns. Over in the West, we're predicting a Dallas Stars versus Vancouver Canucks showdown that'll have fans on both sides of the border glued to their screens. Jason Robertson and the Stars' balanced attack against Quinn Hughes and the Canucks' high-octane offense. It's a hockey purist's dream and a goalie's worst nightmare. This series could come down to goaltending. Jake Oettinger versus Thatcher Demko in a battle of the young guns that'll have GMs league-wide drooling over their potential. And for the Stanley Cup final, we're going bolder than a Don Cherry suit, New York Rangers versus Vancouver Canucks. It's a rematch of the '94 final, but this time, we're calling it for the Canucks in 7 games. Picture this. Game 7 overtime, and it's veteran defenseman Tyler Myers who plays hero, scoring the cup-winning goal and finally bringing Lord Stanley to Vancouver. The city erupts. Riot police breathe a sigh of relief, and hockey historians start rewriting the books. Bold predictions. Let's wrap this up with some spicy takes that'll either make us look like geniuses or total fools by the time the playoffs roll around. 1. Connor Bedard doesn't just improve, he goes supernova and carries the Blackhawks to a wildcard spot. The Windy City's rebuild, it's over, folks. Bedard establishes himself as a top 10 player in the league. 2. Jack Hughes doesn't just enter the Hart Trophy conversation, he dominates it. A 110-point season, combined with the Devils finishing atop the Metro, seals the deal. Hughes becomes the youngest Hart winner since Sidney Crosby, and cements his place among the NHL's elite. 3. Here's a shocker that'll have Oil Country reaching for the Pepto-Bismol. The Edmonton Oilers missed the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, you heard that right, all that talent, but inconsistent goaltending costs them when it matters most. McDavid and Draisaitl put up video game numbers, but a leaky defense proves to be their Achilles heel in the playoffs. 4. Auston Matthews goes full NHL, 94 on the league. We're talking 93 goals, breaking Wayne Gretzky's single-season record and sending Toronto into a frenzy not seen since the Leafs last won the Cup. Matthews cements himself as the greatest goal scorer of his generation, and suddenly, the Leafs' Stanley Cup drought doesn't seem so insurmountable. 5. The Carolina Hurricanes miss the playoffs, injuries, scoring droughts, and a brutally tough Metro Division spell disaster for a team many picked to contend for the Cup. It's a reminder that in the NHL, nothing is guaranteed, and even the most well-constructed teams can fall victim to the hockey gods' cruel whims. 6. A goalie wins the Conn Smythe Trophy. In a playoffs dominated by high-flying offense, it's a netminder who steals the show. Whether it's Igor Shesterkin standing on his head for the Rangers, or Thatcher Demko channeling his inner Ken Dryden for the Canucks, the goalie's heroics become the story of the postseason. 7. A major trade deadline deal swings the balance of power. A struggling team decides to blow it up, sending a superstar to a contender in a blockbuster move that reshapes the playoff race. It's the kind of trade that has fans frantically refreshing their Twitter feeds and GMs second-guessing every decision. 8. The Art Ross race comes down to the final game of the season. Connor McDavid, Nathan MacKinnon, and a surging Jack Hughes battle it out in a 3-way race for the scoring title that isn't decided until the last puck drops on the regular season. And there you have it, hockey fanatics. Your complete, no stone left unturned guide to the 2025 NHL season. But here's the beautiful thing about this sport we love. It's as unpredictable as a knuckling slap shot. Will Connor McDavid finally hoist the cup and silence the critics? Can Bedard and the Blackhawks shock the world and go from basement dwellers to playoff contenders? And will we witness history with Auston Matthews taking aim at the Great One's goal-scoring record? The puck's about to drop on a season that promises more twists and turns than a Nikita Kucherov stick-handling exhibition. From the first face-off to the final horn, from the bone-crunching hits to the silky smooth dekes, this season's got all the makings of an instant classic. So grab your jerseys, warm up your goal horns, and get ready for the most electrifying NHL season yet. What do you think of our predictions? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for season updates and more great hockey videos.